Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas. My name is Joanna. If this is your first time on our page, I'm founder of Wounds to Scars, and we work with women who have experienced childhood trauma and abuse. And this season, we're doing 12 Days of Christmas, giving you tools and tips to cope in over the Christmas season, over this time, however challenging it might be, because we recognize that it can be a challenging time for many. And so I have a special guest, my sister Tamara Lawrence, and she was here yesterday, so you will be familiar with her. So we're going to talk about a different subject today. So please help me welcome Tamara.
Good to be here again, Joe.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself maybe for those who haven't watched yesterday's video? Because today we're talking about
Oh,
different.
okay. I'm Tamara V Lawrence. I am a mom. I'll start there. To four adopted kids. I've been married 12 years and in the mission field for 10 out of that 12. Crazy. But I my ministry is marriage ministry motherhood. Where I equip women, I give them the tools to stand as women of strength and courage.
Mm.
Basically. Yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Tamara. So today we're talking about worry, and I know that I've just finished my Journey to Freedom group for women who are healing from sexual abuse, and I asked them how they wanted to spend the final week, and they said we want to talk about anger and how we access it and deal with the emotions beneath anger, because we know that anger is not a primary emotion. They're usually things beneath the surface, kind of like a teapot, the things brewing, and then anger is what comes out, right? And it leaves us devastated. It leaves us with some of the stuff that was in the teapot, the guilt and the shame, and all of that, depending on how the anger is demonstrated when it comes out. So there, one of the things that we know that's beneath anger sometimes is worry. There's a worry that's on the
Yes.
surface that we're not acknowledging, that we're not dealing with, and then it it comes up. And I'm talking to
Mm-hmm.
you about worry because as somebody who is a self-supporting missionary that have traveled so many countries that do the work that you do, there's an
Yes.
amazing story that you tell in your book, Take No Thought, that whenever I remember that story, it really warms my heart. Tell us that story
Okay.
about that has helped you to not worry. Because how do you manage to do all that you do? And as a missionary, how do you manage to do all of that and not worry and not allow that to consume you and take over?
Um, Take no thought. Huh. End up writing a book on it because I remember um the leader of the mission team came in one day and he was trying to work with these young people to get them to become missionaries, and he read from Matthew, and he read about the birds and how the fields are clothed and all that kind of stuff, and I thought, oh, beautiful. But then one day I experienced, well, actually multiple times I experienced my very own take no thought. But one of the most profound for me was when we were transitioning into Europe. We were called to a mission there, and but we were doing the adoption of our first daughter, and I was in a hammock outside, and I saw this bird going across. It's flying over me. The same bird. I know the bird, because its nest is just in the tree that my daughters and all the other kids would really swing very hard to try and get the nest to fall because they just wanted to see if there are any baby birds in there or whatever it is. So I'm like, oh, okay, why is the bird go? Wow, the bird is moving its nest. Why is the bird moving its nest? And I watched that bird fly back and forth, um, from the tree that its nest was in over to the mango tree across the fence. And I couldn't understand why. Then it hit me. The next day, the a team was going to come in and they were going to cut down the tree that had the bird's nest. This nest had been there. We were staying at that mission house from February, and that nest was there before because we got there. The nest was there because the kids were able to show us, and we joined in with my kid trying to see what's in the nest. And here it was, almost September. It was September, and the bird was finally moving its nest because the next day the tree was going to be cut down. And all I could think was, who told that bird that its home was going to be destroyed the next day? Who could do that? Did the bird overhear the conversation in the manager's office? Did the bird hear us talking about it? How did the bird know? Because God told the bird. And it and all I could think was, if God still is here looking after birds, how much more would God look after me? I have
Mm.
nothing to worry about. I do not need to take thought about anything because my God, who still looks after birds in what was this, 2017, will look after me. And
Mm.
he's been looking after me, you know? So all I can say is there's absolutely nothing we have to worry about.
That story, the first time I heard it, it seems sounded so amazing to me that a bird would know when to move its nest. And we worry about different things, and sometimes worry is a automatic response because we're
Yeah,
so used to doing it. And this is not shaming anybody who worries, because I think we
no,
all are tempted to, we all are triggered, and we all have to go through things that will prompt worry. I wanted to share this story because I wanted you to know that whatever you're worrying about, that there is an answer and there is help available for it. Because if a bird would
yes,
know to move its nest before the tree was cut down, and the bird wasn't moving its nest during the process of the tree being cut down, it did it before,
the day before,
the day
the day
before,
before, because the very next day that tree was cut down to almost nothing, you
and a place
know,
where its nest was in this tree for how long,
months and months and months.
and it moved its nest the day before the
It
tree went.
moved. Yeah, and it's not where, okay, maybe the bird is moving its nest because they fly south for winter time.
Mm,
They don't do that
mm,
here, but maybe so it took it really far. No, it moved it just to the next tree over. So it's
yeah,
where the bird wanted to be in this area. It just knew that I could not stay there because it was going to
yeah,
be gone.
yes.
You know?
Worry is such a, I don't know what to describe worry as, because um, in the healing place, and you'll see the link for the healing place below this video, is a space for Christian women who are, we're connecting healing to the word. And in the healing place, in the first week in December, we have a bonus month, and I'm going through our 90-day devotional. You only need to be still, which really helps us to
Mhm.
process worry in ineffective ways, I'm going to say. And so the first week was about Jehoshaphat and the things that he could worry about. And somebody was telling me this morning that she said, when I say list 10 things that he could have worried about. And she said, after I
Mhm.
listed 10, I asked myself, how would you know that he would worry about these things? And, it's because it's the things that she would worry about. That's how she
Yep.
knew that Jehoshaphat would worry about those things,
But
you
yes.
know? So worry sometimes is a habit that we develop. It's a familiar pathway that we have. It's a familiar way of coping that we have. So how did that help you? Because you were transitioning from South America to Europe with a brand new child, that though you knew her in the village, you've never lived with her solo, or with just you and your
Yeah.
family and husband. So how did that experience, how many times did you had to call on that experience throughout the years since 2017 to help to remind you to not worry?
Plenty. Plenty. Because did I write that story immediately? No, I didn't. I kept it with me, but I ended up writing that story and writing an entire book a couple of years later because here I was in Europe, though the Lord did so much, you know, to transition me to Europe so much, in that book, to share. I shared about how the Lord showed us over and over by looking after us, in getting us to Europe. But I got to a place where I was just worrying like nobody's business. And the Lord reminded me of this event. And I
Mm.
thought, I need to write it down so I don't ever forget it. And so I can share it with others, you know? And so I would not say, okay, since writing that book, then I stopped worrying. Absolutely not. But I've had to go back to it quite a few times.
Yeah.
Quite a few times.
It's evidence, isn't it? And that's why I felt it was a really good story to share here, because sometimes we want an evidence. We want some evidence of times when a reminder of, okay, if I didn't need to worry then and things were sorted for me, then I don't have to worry now because things need to be sorted for me. So it's
Yeah,
evidence that he provides, and there might be different things going on in your life. You might be it's towards the end of the year, when it's a time when people do reflection. It's a time when people do assess their goals. People are thinking about, what have I achieved? And what I will say is, try not to worry about how much you've done or how much you've not done, because the past is gone and we can't fix it. The future is not promised. We only have today. And if we spend the time that we have today worrying, then you'll miss out on all the joys that you're supposed to experience in today.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, the story of the bird kept you going as you transitioned to Europe, and I know that was an amazing experience coming on its own to Europe. Is there any other experience that you have in Take No Thought that you want to share with us around worry as we wrap up?
Oh, okay. It's where, this one blew our minds. We were adopting this little girl. And to adopt, you need certain amounts of money. We're missionaries. We depend on donations, you know? And so, like, Lord, where are we going to find the money? And then there's you need a house because you need to show that you have a space for this child to be. So we were in
Mm,
charge of the mission house. The mission house had 2 bedrooms. So, of
mm,
course, that's perfect. One for my husband and I, and here's the one for the child. But because it's a mission house, that's where all the missionaries coming from the interior, they're all foreign, so they don't have homes apart from the homes they have in the jungle. So they'll be coming out quite often because there's always, something that they needed to get sorted or a doctor to see or something. So for months, we were just never alone. There were so many that kept coming and coming and coming and staying there. So we were praying like, Lord, they're supposed to come at any time to do the home visit. What are we going to do? So we're like, we're just going to have to tell them the truth. This is it. And if they give us the house, if they give us the child, they do. If not, then we have to figure out something. But then all the missionaries got called in or had to go in to the mission for one reason or the other. And one night we found ourselves just the three of us. And this was months. And it was only the three of us. And we're like, wow, oh, wow. The next morning, I got called from Child Protection saying, we're coming to do your home visit today. And they came that day to do the home visit when it literally was only the three of us there.
mm,
So they were able to see Layla's room and they were able to see our room. And of course, we still were honest. We're like, well, missionaries come in and out. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter that missionaries come in and out. We just wanted to know this was yours. But if they'd come 2 days before when there were so many, I don't think they would have been that lenient of, oh, they come in and out
mm,
because all their
mm,
stuff would be there. And
mm-hmm,
it was just amazing how God showed us, one, that yes, I want you to have this child, and two, I am going to take care of every aspect, even in you being able to adopt. so you can, like, I'll take care of the adoption so you can focus on the mission,
Yes,
you
yes, yes,
know, and
yes.
I'll take care of your child so you can focus on the mission. She is your mission too. But, at that time, and it was just so amazing how God did that. And He did so much more in providing money that we needed because He knew we were going to be stuck in Suriname for a month. So He made sure we had money beforehand, that we have money more than we ever had the years before mission, because He knew we were going to be stuck and we needed to pay for an apartment. So just stuff like that. We needed suitcases. He sent some missionaries who were passing through and just so happened to leave the exact amount of suitcases that we needed and say, "Oh, have these." Just stuff like that. He did, looking after us, and He's still doing the same thing today. And I tell my children, we were at the mall the other night. We are waiting to cross the road to go, and we were just standing waiting on a friend. And a lady was there as well, and she's like, "Are you their guardian?" Okay, yeah. She said, "Can I buy your kids ice cream?" Buy my kids ice cream? Why? I'm like, "They're lactose intolerant. So can I just buy them a popsicle?" Okay, so when she was paying for it, I'm like, "Why are you doing this?" She said, "Just because they're children, you
Mhm,
know? But there's so
mhm.
many children around. Why my children?" So I was there praising God, and I'm telling my kids, I'm like, "God wants you to know how much He loves you."
Mm.
And I use these opportunity to really bring out the love of God for them, because I want it to be that as they grow, when times get tough, because it will get tough, that they will remember these moments when God saw the need to give them a popsicle just for no reason.
Just because,
For them
just
to know,
because.
just because. Because I told them, I said, the lady didn't do this because I did something good for her and she wanted to do something nice for my children. She did this because
Mm.
God loves you, and God wants
Yeah,
you to know
yeah,
that He loves you. So God's still looking after us, and
yes,
He's looking after my
yes,
kids, and I know He loves my kids.
yeah. Yes. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your stories. There's so many more stories in Take No Thought. I'm going to put the link below the video, and you can go check out Marriage, Ministry, and Motherhood and missionaryforlife.org and learn some more about the mission and the work that they do. They're in South America at the moment, in Guyana, and we hope that they'll come back and join us here again soon. Thank you so much, Tam, for
Hope
joining us.
so.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.
You're welcome. Bye.